All right, welcome to the Rockin Rich Lynch. Welcome to the Rockin Rich Lynch Webcast. It's about 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. It's about 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. See, living in Central Time messes everything up a little bit. I am Rockin Rich Lynch. This is the Rockin Rich Lynch Webcast, our second show of the year, and I'm going to be right back. Going to get this up and running on the Facebook over here to make sure we're broadcasting. Tell all your friends, share this broadcast, live stream. We have some guests today. We have Charlie Souza coming up first, Billy Walton of the Billy Walton Band coming up second, and everybody sit back. I hope you enjoy this program. Okay, this works. How to fix the hat. We are streaming, so that's good. As you see right there, we have a website, richlynchband.com, one of the homes of the Rockin Rich Lynch webcast, one of the many. Thank you, Garth, for your backstop today. Before we get started today, I just want to say if you're a band or artist on the World Wide Web and you would like some promotion, go over to this website, soundpress.net, and click the music promo button in the navigation section. And this site, musiccitynashville.net, and click the button in the navigation section. We have some music promo opportunities for any band and artist from around the world. It's a promotion exchange. You get promoted and written about on several websites and our social media. And we just ask that you buy a few dollars worth of the Rich Lynch Band music. So that's how that's going to go. Get in touch with me at soundpress.net or musiccitynashville.net and we can discuss it. It's really easy. I've been in the music promotion business for 20 years, so what we do for you is pretty extensive and pretty great. I'm going to play the new song right now, and then we're going to try to get Charlie Souza on the line. This is the Rich Lynch Band. No, this is the Rockin Rich Lynch Webcast. I am your host, Rockin Rich Lynch. You can find me at richlynchband.com. With the Super Bowl coming up this week, I'm really excited. On this program, on the stage in Nashville, I only wear the colors of teams that play American football as they exist around the world. I do believe that American football, the game of gridiron, is the next major sport to break out around the world. It's being proven right now. The Super Bowl is coming up this weekend. We're excited about that. I'm going to play a song called Just Waiting for You right now. We're all waiting for the Super Bowl. We're excited about that. And then we'll try to get Charlie Souza on the line. They said that Jesus might be coming real soon. Another night by the light of the moon. I'll sit back and I'll write a new tune. And I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait. Growing old just waiting for you. You said we knew, now it's 1:45. What's a lonely old boy to do except wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait. Just waiting for you. Just waiting for you. All my life been waiting on a friend for it to start and inevitably end. I'll lick my wounds and then I'll go on the mend. And I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait. Yeah, it's true, I'm waiting for the sun. And I'll do my best in this race I run. When doors are closed, I'll keep knocking upon. And I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait. new tune, and I'll wait, and I'll wait, and I'll wait, and I'll wait. Growing old just waiting for you. You said by noon, now it's 1:45. What's a lonely old boy to do? I said wait, and I'll wait, and I'll wait, and I'll wait. Another night by the light of the moon, I'll sit back and I'll write a new tune. And I'll wait, and I'll wait, and I'll wait, and I'll wait. Growing old just waiting for you. You said by noon, now it's 1:45. What's a lonely old boy to do? I said wait, and I'll wait, and I'll wait, and I'll wait. Just wait for you. Just wait for you. Just wait for you. Just waiting for you. Just waiting for you. Go over to richlynchband.com. Also, Bandcamp, Rockin Rich Lynch at Bandcamp. You can buy all my music over there. When you do, you really help me out immensely. And what's amazing about the Bandcamp site is you can buy a $1 song and you can pay me $50 for that as a way of saying, hey, Rockin Rich Lynch, good job, nice work. We appreciate what you're doing. Here's a bonus, here's a tip. I love that website, bandcamp.com. It's the best from that regard. You can send music as a gift. You can buy the whole discography. It's a really pretty good deal, and it's a great platform, and I'll be releasing all my future music on Bandcamp. So I'm going to check the time here. We're getting close. I'm going to be calling Mr. Charlie Souza very soon, very shortly. I'm going to just bring up the program over here. Let me explain what we're doing here. For 20 years, I hosted an internet podcast and radio show. And in the doing of that, what I tried to do, my goal that I wrote down on a piece of paper so long ago was to be extraordinary and exceptional in everything that I do. Extraordinary and exceptional. And even though I did a podcast based out of a small home studio in the rural town in Passaic, New Jersey, I have a relationship with so many publicists and people within the music business that I was able to talk to the likes of Donovan and Yoko Ono and Ian Gillan and Todd Rundgren and John Anderson of Yes and John Wetton of Asia and Crimson fame, Al Di Meola, Joe Lynn Turner. The list goes on and on. There's literally several dozen of my favorite rock star personalities that I got to do. I had the privilege and honor of speaking to them on the show. And we moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and that outlet kind of went away. And what we're doing right now is we're in the development stages of doing one of those high-tech internet webcasts. And the way we're beginning it is in a very low-tech, methodical manner. What I want to do is prove that I can do this in a different way, prove that we can still have impactful and important conversations with people, build an audience with this format, and then expand on it and grow on it. I want to have a show where I talk to my old friends, emerging stars, rock stars, classic rock icons, have a band within a studio environment where I play several songs per show. That's my band. Possibly have other people play, possibly play music, do live reviews, live CD reviews, live concert reviews, a whole bunch of stuff is what we're looking to do. But it begins in this very rudimentary, rustic fashion here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm excited about it. We're going to see if this works. This is actually, we're testing the theory today to see if we'll be able to move forward with this even further down the line. As I said though, if you are an independent band or artist, we can give some promotion to you on soundpress.net, on this website. Click on the music promo button at the top. Similar, same, maybe even different promotion will be available on musiccitynashville.net. Again, click the promo button at the top. And we're looking to do extensive quality work for you in the independent music field by featuring you on our sites, on our platforms, and our social media outlets. And what we're asking you to do is just buy a very small amount of our music, which will help us stay in the studio, put more online. It's a win-win for everybody, and as I said, we have a 20-year history of doing that through websites like quebec.com and soundpress.net, and now Music City Nashville. Again, the outfit is in honor of the Super Bowl, but it's a team who plays in the Hungarian Football League. They are called the Budapest Wolves. And if you're out there and you have a team that plays American football, either internationally or in America, college, collegiate, any level, semi-pro, indoor, arena ball, or if you play internationally in any of the same type of leagues, outdoor leagues, I will wear your apparel on this program, on stage, and we will also do some photo shoots that get promoted within a Global Gridiron website and also on social media. So we're getting down to the time where Charlie Souza, get ready. So we're going to talk to a guy named Charlie Souza right now. His website is charliesouza.com. Souza is S-O-U-Z-A. S-O-U-Z-A, and Charlie's been a good friend to the many different programs that we've had over the years. So it just makes sense to have him on today and touch base with him and just let him know that we love him. Because Charlie, you know it, man. I do love you. You know that, and I feel bad that I see you on Facebook, and that's the extent of our friendship. Really, maybe I'll get down to the Florida region soon. But I just want you to know that. I want you to know. Because I want people to know how I feel about them. It's important. Any day could be the last we have on this earth. So I really want to be sincere in that regard. Charlie Souza, a very inspiring person. So here's what I do. I'm about to dial the 1. Remember everybody a few years ago you had to dial 1 all the time? Trying to get Charlie Souza on the phone. Hey, Charlie. Hey, hang on. Let's see if this works. It may or may not work so well, and then I have to do something else if it doesn't. Volume's all the way up. Say something, Charlie.
Okay, good to hear from you, Richard.
Nice hearing from you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay like that?
Yeah, sure. You're just, talking on the speakerphone.
Yeah, I'm in a cave. You're on a speakerphone, but we're going to see if this works. If it does work, we can move forward. But so good to hear from you, Charlie. So good to speak to you. How has life been treating you?
Well, beautiful thing. I went on a hiatus as far as my rock bands for about a year, and I wrote this book about the history of Tampa Bay music roots. And I just finished a couple of months ago, and the thing is coming out on Barnes & Noble and Amazon, and I'm really excited about it.
So, Charlie, at this stage in your career, and before I go any further, charliesouza.com is the website, S-O-U-Z-A. Following up Live Your Dream, another book that you wrote about a decade ago, would you consider yourself more of an author now, or is that just another hat you're wearing?
Well, no, actually, I'm a songwriter and a musician first, and, I take time out to write books, when I'm not working as much, and it works out where they all blend in together. So that book is still doing well on the market, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and this new one is the one I'm excited about because it's new. It's not just about me anymore. It's about all of the artists and musicians and writers and from this whole area where I was born. There's like a lot, I'm just a little grain of sand on the beach compared to all of the music that has been made here and it came from here, the Tampa Bay area.
Right,
so,
right. Well, that sounds pretty awesome because it's another outlet for you to work on that area of your skill set with the writing. I did want to say, since the last time we spoke, we did lose Tom Petty, and you got to spend some time with Tom Petty in the 70s in Mudcrutch, and so my condolences there for your loss of a friend.
Oh, man, that really is a deep subject. Just being able to have spent the short period of time with Tom that I did spend, when you know somebody like that and you share some music with them, then there's a deep spiritual feeling that you have. And when Tom left us, it hurt so bad. I started a tribute band called the Broken Hearts, and we have been playing since 2017, and the band is still going strong. There's several gigs coming up here in the area, and it's just a tribute to Tom and everything that he gave us. I mean, like I said, I was just a small part of Mudcrutch for a short period of time, but it means something special when you're in a band with somebody and they go up to join the rock and roll band in the sky.
Right, you definitely had a connection with Tom. In a second now, did you give the title for your latest book?
We came up with it. I had a co-writer with me, Keith Wilkins, and together we were going to call it Tampa Bay Rock and Roll R&B and Soul Music Roots, but that was too long of a title, so we just called it Tampa Bay Music Roots.
Excellent, excellent. And when do you feel that will be out?
Well, it's on all the websites now for a March 2nd shipment. So on March the 2nd, they'll ship all the pre-orders. People are already ordering it at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and the publishing company is called Arcadia Publishing. They're the ones that publish the book. So.
Excellent, Charlie. So it looks like I reached out to you at the perfect timing.
I'm telling you, it's like I'm on a book tour right now for this Tampa Bay Music Roots book, and I plan on going into a couple of Barnes and Nobles, and they have these things where you meet the author and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun these days.
Listen, we're not going to be able to get to nearly everything because the show is kind of formatted differently, where 15 minutes max is kind of like people's attention span nowadays. So I'm kind of, not trying to fight against that too much.
Oh, I understand, as long as they go to iTunes and buy my songs, man.
Right, exactly. Go to iTunes. You can access all of that through charliesouza.com. You did
Yeah.
mention the Broken Hearts band. You've also been in a band called the Sting Police. Is at this stage in the game for you, is it more profitable? Does it make more sense to actually put together a high caliber professional band that can kind of replicate the vibe and idea of, you know, bands that people kind of really, you know just from being in the marketplace? Is it a good idea to be in a cover band these days?
Well, actually, it's called tribute bands, and if you do a tribute to a really huge artist, there is a high dollar demand for such things. As a matter of fact, the Sting Police are playing out at the in Colorado at the what is that called? Live Aid. There's a Live Aid tribute concert in Colorado in August, and the Sting Police are booked on that, and they're also booked up in Connecticut at a theater to benefit breast cancer. And so the Broken Hearts and the Sting Police are going strong because of the original artist's music.
Hey Charlie, didn't Tom Petty play Live Aid too?
I believe he did.
Hey, bring both of those bands to Colorado with you.
Yeah, well, the Broken Hearts didn't get booked on that gig, but the Sting Police did. So, you know, it's back and forth as far as that goes.
So tell me about, what was the band Fortress? That's one band I wasn't too familiar with.
Well, after I had moved out to L.A., we got involved, my guitar player from the Tropics and I got involved with a recording studio there, and we recorded a bunch of songs, and they brought in the people from Atlantic Records, and we got signed to Atlantic Records in 1980, and they released our first album. It was called Hands in the Till, Fortress Hands in the Till. That's also on iTunes. And, of course, if you go into Tower Records, well, they don't have Tower Records anymore, but I used to go into Tower Records and I'd find the Foreigner album, because they came out at that time. And right behind the Foreigner album in the record stack was Fortress, because of the spelling, you know.
Good call. Maybe you planned it that way. Now, what defined Fortress musically?
It's kind of like an 80s, jeepers. It's 80s rock and roll, you know. There was a lot of it back there in the 80s.
So let's back up again. Charlie Souza is on the phone with us, longtime friend of the Rockin Rich Lynch programming. We've done many of these over the years, so I thank you, Charlie. I'm trying to come back myself a little bit. I know all about hiatuses, but you know, there's so much music in this town that it would be a shame if I had to let that part of my life go. So you got to bring your stuff to Nashville sometime.
Yeah, you're in Music City, Richard, and I really I respect that, and I'm happy for you, and you just keep on kicking, brother.
Honestly, I'll be honest with you, though, it is a hard place to live here. When we moved here 5 years ago, it looked like it was going to be more affordable to live than it would be in New Jersey, where we were, and now it's probably the most expensive place to live in the United States.
Goodness me, it's all the hit records that come out of there. It's the musicians' fault, man.
Yeah, I blame them. So I do want to back up. What did the book Live Your Dream do for you, career-wise?
Well, career-wise, it let people know who I am, because a lot of times people don't really know you. They just know you from one or two things. But you know, it backs up and it says that I had a rough childhood and I made the best of it, and I let music be the medicine. And it definitely works. Music will heal anything that you go through.
I'm moved here. I'm actually feeling that what you said just touched me a little bit, Charlie. I guess because unfortunately I can relate to some of that. So I feel like we're friends a little bit because we've talked a lot over the years. So I don't think I've read that. I probably have to order that from Amazon and sit down and read it for myself.
Well, it's only $9 on Kindle.
Excellent. Let's see. I do have a couple other things. All right, I have three things I want to tell you. In the year 2016, I did have a bucket list moment where Tom Petty brought Mudcrutch to the Ryman Auditorium, and I got to shoot the man for the first time professionally, and it was just such a thrill to do that. And he took your position playing bass back, so.
Yeah, I know. I tried to get that gig, but then the manager said, "Yeah, no dice. Tom's playing the bass, so you just sit back."
And then he brought his show back, the 40th anniversary, to the Bridgestone in April the following year, and nobody really wanted to go with me. And I had seen Tom a number of times, but more in the 90s, more in the 80s, so I hadn't really seen him for about a decade and a half, and I really wanted to go see that show, and I'm so glad I did, because I had no idea the pain that he was going through and what was going to happen just a short week after that tour concluded, and that one really that one did hurt. But let's see, I did see that you had another song out not so long ago. It was called "Free as a Bird," and to me it almost seemed to kind of pick up where the Beatles song of the same name had left off.
Yeah, well, I wrote that with my son, and it was to inspire him to, flap his wings and fly over the mountain. So that's what that's about.
Well, it definitely had some psychedelia to it.
Yeah.
And a good sound. I liked it a lot. And like I said, it definitely had, and then there was a recalling of some other Beatles lyrics in there. So it definitely seemed like it had those ideas. What's next for Charlie Sousa? I know you're on the book tour now. What's up with the songwriting? Any collection of music that we might see in the coming days, weeks, months, years?
Well, I do have a catalog, and I've been working on that. So you never know. I plan on releasing some things in the next year or so. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, Charlie, I want you to come to Nashville. I have one other piece of news about another former heartbreaker who's coming to Nashville. Mike Campbell will be coming to town. He's got his debut album coming out with a band called the Dirty Knobs.
The Dirty Knobs, yeah.
Yeah, and did you know that Mike sounded so much like Tom when he sang?
Yeah, I did. I knew it way back then when Mike told me that we're going to be big sometime and not to do drugs. That's what Mike told me.
Yeah, I get, members of the band definitely did have drug problems over the years, but I guess that's good advice early on, because for what they were preparing for, the success, the stardom, the rigors of the road. Now, Tom Petty's an interesting kind of case, because especially as it came out in that, was it Tom Zane's book? Or, well, the one, but Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers really didn't become an international superstar. They were more of a national thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, Tom is from Gainesville, and that's how we hooked up down here in Florida. So he'll always be a Florida Beatle to me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so we're excited. Hopefully we'll see Mike when he comes to town. Did he always sound like that, or do you think he got some of those vocal qualities that Tom had from just being his right-hand man for all those years?
Well, all that time he spent with Tom, I'm sure he learned how to emulate him. And when you see Mike, ask him if he needs a bass player.
I definitely will. Hopefully there's a new venue opening up in Nashville. It's called the Brooklyn Bowl. There's another one in Vegas and one in Brooklyn, New York. So that's going to be opening next month. We're excited about that. The venues just keep coming in here, and really we're just an hour flight from Tampa, Charlie. So you should add this to your itinerary, because there's a lot of places to play. We can help you. We can help you with that. CharlieSousa.com is the website. Great talking to you, Charlie. Thanks for being a part of the show, and maybe we'll have you on later in the year when you're heading out to Colorado.
Sounds good, Richard. God bless you, man, and rock on.
God bless. I said before, I love you, man.
Love you, too.
Bye.
Bye.
Charlie Sousa, everybody. That was great. That was so good. So I think this is working. I think the format might be working. We're going to have to go back and listen to the audio quality later on, because it is pretty much gluing this thing together with duct tape right now. And again, as I've said, the goal is to do this now. And the goal is to move this into a studio with monitors, with lights, with multi-cameras, because in this day and age, what can be done, and what a lot of people are doing already, is you can hit Facebook Live right off the bat. You can hit YouTube Live right off the bat. And then you can archive all these things for playing within an hour or two of making them happen. So that's what we're kind of doing right now, is we're building the show. We're building it on our history of relationships. We're building it on our current relationships with all these great publicists that we have all around the world, many here in Nashville, from doing this thing for 20 some odd years. But admittedly, the setup right now is fairly rudimentary, but that doesn't really matter. What we're trying to do is prove the fact that this can be done, that we can talk to interesting people, that their message can be conveyed to you. That's why we're doing this right now. If you are a band or artist out there and you're looking for some promotion, we can do that for you on soundpress.net. Just click the music promo button at the top of the pages and then get in touch with me on both sites at musiccitynashville.net. We can and will promote your music. We're more than happy to do so. More than happy to do so. I'm going to have another song for you in a few minutes. We're going to be talking to Billy Walton of the Jersey Shore next. BillyWaltonBand.com is the website. I'm just going to go maximize the screen over here in case people are trying to ask some questions. I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back here, and then I'm just going to check the time. All right, so it's 1:02. I told Billy I'd be calling him about 3 after. So BillyWaltonBand.com is the website. BillyWaltonBand.com is the website. There's Billy's phone number right there. So really what's taking place here is you guys are getting a look at how I used to run my radio show. I didn't have a camera on me. I did it pretty much, I took refuge in solitude and solace behind a microphone. And this version of the program does expose me a little bit more. I'm not totally comfortable with the idea of this, as you may or may not be able to tell, but I'm doing it more, and it does feel better as time goes by. I wear the clothing of teams that play American football internationally for the most part. So if you're a team and you play American football internationally, send me a cap and a shirt and I will wear it on the next program. This is the Budapest Wolves of the Hungarian Football League. And one thing about American football, what's happened in the last year is that the Canadian Football League, they're really leading the charge of understanding that what has happened, probably thanks to the 1991 or 1990 liftoff of the World League of American Football. The NFL put the product in Europe for many years, ultimately probably pulled it because the finances of it was just a very expensive prospect to do it. But in the absence of them leaving, the game touched the hearts of a lot of people, and all these professional organizations and amateur organizations have developed. And there's a lot of good players. So what the Canadian Football League has been actually doing in the last year is making alliances with all these leagues that play around the world. They're holding combines, and they're looking to bring international players into the Canadian Football League, which is really kind of the forefront. And I think what's exciting about that is as teams from Germany evolve and teams from the Middle East and South America, as they play the game, they're going to try to play the game as it's dictated by American rules and from the icons of our game. But they're going to bring their own international flavor and style into it. So the game is going to just inevitably evolve a little bit by the addition of international players. So we're probably a decade away from seeing a large stream of those players in the NFL. But it's exciting nonetheless. So what I'm going to do right now is try to get Billy Walton on the phone. BillyWaltonBand.com. And I'm just looking at my notes. So, BillyWaltonBand.com. I actually last heard from the Billy Walton Band in 2009 when their debut album, Neon City, came out. And they've been pretty active in the decade that has followed. So I'm excited to talk to Billy to see what's up. So we're going to get him on the phone right now. All right. Remember, you don't have to dial 1 anymore. It's confusing. They tell you to dial 1 all those years and then no more 1. But I might have to dial 1 this time. Hey, so I'm telling everybody I don't have to dial 1, but when I dial 609, I still have to dial 1. I'm confused. I'm going to put you on speakerphone, Billy, and then I'll be right up with you. Okay, we are in the what I'm calling right now the Stone Age studio. It might be a little difficult for you to hear me, but let's see how you sound.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I got you. Billy Walton, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show. Welcome back to Nashville. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. Living a dream here in New Jersey.
Yeah, BillyWaltonBand.com is the website. As I was telling the audience as I was dialing, Billy, I last heard from you about a decade ago when your debut album, Neon City, dropped to great acclaim. So congratulations on that, and, you know, let's figure out what's been going on since then.
Oh, well, a lot has happened. We've done many albums. We had the Crank It Up album. We had the Wish for What You Want record. We have Soul of a Man. We got a new one coming out in March. Doing multiple tours of Europe. It's been pretty cool, man.
Excellent. Do you have a title for the new record yet, or is that still under wraps?
No, it hasn't been.
So, Billy, I did check out Soul of a Man beforehand, and I like how the sound has kind of evolved. I mean, there's a lot of that great essence of the Jersey Shore soul and R&B vibe. Vocally, you sound a little like John Bon Jovi, so not going the other route. But the guitar work, I mean, that is, you rose to fame on that scene through your incredible guitar work.
Oh, thank you so much. John Bon Jovi, I don't think I've heard of him. Is he from New Jersey?
Yeah, you had a little bit of, I mean, it was a cool kind of melding of, a lot of the styles, plus your own stamp on there. But, you have to do that work, and, being from, that region, of course, it's going to come out in your music, and of course you were kind of schooled on that coming up, so that's definitely in your blood. Now let's talk about the latest tour. It's kicking off on March 19th in the UK at the Flower Pot in Derby, United Kingdom. Let me just tell you, Billy, where I was 21 years ago on March 19th. It was 1999. I was online outside of Convention Hall in Asbury Park for the second night or afternoon of Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band reunion concerts.
Oh, yeah. I was there.
You were there?
Yeah.
And,
yes.
For you, that day kind of represented a rebirth of the E Street Band, and it really kind of, just how has the region changed in the 21 years since those shows? Because you were very active, you were in a band that was very active for that whole first decade after that, and just oversaw the emergence of the inspiring recovery and rehabilitation of Asbury Park, New Jersey, and surrounding points.
Yes, but you know what? Asbury's always been thriving musically, even though at one point it looked like Beirut, but now it's beautiful. But the music scene has always been thriving. It's just Springsteen, when he goes on tour, it shines the light a little bit brighter on Asbury, which is a cool thing. You know what I mean? But there's many bands, that have been killing it there. It's such a great music scene.
Would you say the blues is your still main approach to the industry, or are you looking to kind of expand and become that signature rock act, that singer-songwriter persona, in your own right, or is it still very much heavily steeped in the blues?
Well, to be honest with you, that's up to the listener. There's so many different styles. Blues had a baby; it was called rock and roll. You know what I mean? Soul, even the jam band element of the band now, I'm digging too. But we always have the horns. I don't know. You know what I mean? Am I Freddie King up there playing? No. You know what I mean? I'm just a dude from New Jersey. What do I know about the blues? So it's more of a Jersey, vibe and the feeling of you know what it's like in Jersey at a club and how you're ahead of the beat and the band's pushing all night. Even if they're doing a Motown tune, you're pushing it. You know what I mean? It's a different vibe. It's a different feeling.
Well, I think what you bring to the table is the fact that the possibilities are endless for a guy in a band like you, and it probably gives you a reason to wake up every morning just to see how creativity is going to strike you on any given day.
Absolutely. I'm lucky enough to have great players in the band where every night you can play the same song, but it's going to be different, and it can go in different directions. It's kind of like, almost, it's not jazz, but in the mind frame of jazz or jam band. It could go different directions, and that makes it exciting every night you play. So, and for the audience that, especially overseas, they dig that. They can go to multiple shows, and they'll all be different.
Right, so let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, how did you get the inclination that you were going to be, because just from looking at it from an outsider looking in, it looks like you're more successful touring in the United Kingdom, and that goes for a lot of acts, but it looks like that formula and that decision is working well for you. But how did you have that inclination early on to know that this is maybe where you should kind of plant your flag initially?
Well, for over 10 years, well over 10 years, I've been going over there, and we've built a following. It was a little easier to get radio play over there, which helps with everything. And the whole rock music scene over there it's in the culture. You know what I mean? It is here too in certain spots, but but over there, it's a nice. Because the Jersey Shore during the summertime, it's off the charts. You know that. We play, 7 nights a week in Jersey, during the summertime. But those off, November and stuff, we like to go overseas and push our records, and we do usually three tours a year in the off season of Jersey. You know what I mean? So It's a nice balance for the band to keep everybody working and new places that didn't know us, and in some places that don't even speak the same language as us. Parts of Germany, but it was always an adventure. You know what I mean? Bringing music and waving that New Jersey flag, saying, "Here's another band from Jersey. Here we are. Let's have a party."
Well, I mean, you were a true do-it-yourselfer initially, so I mean, it's got to be really rewarding for you to have gone back there year after year and just see the audiences grow and see the excitement and the familiarity with your material, and see the same faces come out year after year. I mean, that's got to be it's got to prove tangible truth to the fact that the decision you made was a good one.
Absolutely. I mean, we started going over just as a three-piece blues band, and we built a little following from there. Then when I was asked to join Southside John and the Asbury Jukes, I joined them for 6 years, and I toured over there. So I was touring over there with that band and my band, so that helped our following, that Jersey element. And then the whole jam band scene of the rock jam band, that has started, so it's multiple avenues that we've used. So say we're just a blues band or just a soul band or just, that's a tough ticket. You know what I mean? The audience knows what we do now. That our fan base. You know what I mean? And it's exciting.
Right. There's no need to label it. You are the Billy Walton Band, and encompassed within all of that is a potpourri of just amazing talent and great songs. BillyWaltonBand.com is the website. We're all talking to Billy Walton again, back on the show. Thanks for joining us here, Billy. And I do realize that this format is a little rudimentary. It's the Stone Age Cave.
Right, that's cool.
But we're taking it to a different level here in Nashville. Have you been here yet?
Yes, and I wish I was going to Printer's Alley right now for a nice cold cocktail, but I'm up in New Jersey freezing.
Hey, next time you come down here, let us know. We'd love to come out and cover that. I would certainly love to give some ink to the Billy Walton Band.
Oh, that'd be great.
It would be my honor. What do you do as a player to keep your chops up? What's that regimen look like?
I just, play. You know what I mean? I don't sit there and I don't practice, okay, this I'm going to do a scale and get my fingers working. I just play, man. You put on a Chuck Berry record and go, let's have some fun. You put on, I'll listen to soul stuff and figure out Steve Crocker lyrics. You know what I mean? I still have fun with it, the music. I'll play all different styles and just noodle around. That's my practice.
Right. That's good. That's good advice. Would you feel that you guys have exceeded your expectations, or do you think you're on the verge of even greater things at this point? I mean, do you sit back and map out your career like that and think about where it is you want to go next type of situation?
Well, honestly, the music business has changed so much. It used to be you do a record and then you tour to support the record. Now you do a record to support the tours you do. It's kind of backwards. It was never in the intention of the big rock star, and I mean, boy, it would be great to have a hit record, of course, but there's plenty of great players and great musicians, great bands that do play great music, record great music, and stay working, man. They still, tour all the time, and you look at, I'm not the biggest Deadhead or anything like that, but you look at the Dead, they had a core movement following them. Never had really a hit song until Touch of Grey. Right. You know what I mean? You think of how that, how did that happen? You know what I mean? And that's kind of, music went underground a little bit more, and people are looking deeper into it than just what's on the radio, the same, the normal, rotation songs, which are great, but, there's a lot of people that are looking for different and looking for more, you know what I mean, which is, a good thing with, for us with the whole internet age, you know what I mean, social media and stuff like that is getting your music out there without a big budget.
Right, you guys can definitely provide that alternative experience, that more, as you said, you're certainly now you've certainly put the miles in, you put the legwork in, you have the chops and the songs, and I can think of a handful of bands that have come through Nashville in the last year or so that have that. They've had their audience, they have their tribe, they are like little Dead situations.
Right.
But
roots,
if you can get a small fraction of that, you're doing fine.
Well, would I like to have a great big budget for? Yeah, of course. I mean, right now we're getting to the point like in Europe that we're playing rooms that we have to do 2 nights. So we should move to a bigger room. You know what I mean? And that's without a big budget. You know what I mean? I just, it's just moving forward. It's it hasn't been stagnant, so that's good. You know what I mean?
I'm very inspired by your career path and the work and the blue collar ethic that it takes to get to this point, because it's true. I mean, everybody, we can point to many of examples where people just didn't keep it up. They gave up along the way. They gave up before the ring was in hand. So it looks like you were well on your way. BillyWaltonBand.com is the website. So great to talk to you. I have one more question, Billy, and then we'll let you go.
Sure.
It looks like Springsteen might be touring with the E Street Band in 2020. We brought that up a little bit already. 2 questions related to that. A, it's always good for you and the shore scene when Springsteen, comes out with an album and a tour, and B, contrarily to that, is that, Bruce is not getting any younger. He's getting up there in years. He's not going to be here forever. What happens to the Asbury scene? He's a big presence. He cast a large shadow. I talked to somebody once who described being in a band with a famous musician and said once that, that guy sucks all the air out of the room, so there's not like a lot left for everybody. So, two things. What does it mean to have an active Springsteen, and what will it mean when his presence is no longer there?
Well, I mean, Springsteen is a phenomenon. You know what I mean? He's a phenomenon. He's, the songwriting and the time he came out and his era and what he built is his own thing. You know what I mean? It's not just that, Asbury Park. He is, there's no replacing Bruce, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to do that, you know what I mean? And, Asbury Park will always have that, you know what I mean? But as I look at, not just Asbury Park, the Jersey Shore. I mean, there's bands up and down the shore, not just Asbury Park. The only reason why everybody knows that is because of Bruce.
Right.
But, you know what I mean? You can go right down the line from, Long Beach Island down to Cape May, all the way up to Sandy Hook. Along that stretch, there's always been bands playing and always clubs, and you know what I mean? So I think that, will there be a next Springsteen is the question. I don't see that. It'll be different. You know what I mean? I mean, Bon Jovi, sold how many records, you know what I mean? And they, but there's still this thing about Springsteen. You know what I mean?
He kind of came in on the wake and kind of like rode that. It was like 1-2. Certainly there'll be a vacuum to be filled, and that's probably a question, reserved for a later day that nobody really wants to think about. But I just pretty much figured I'd throw it out there because I do know that he's such a dominant presence, and he's the first thing that most people will talk about when you go down there. But I got to see you in Southside Johnny's band one time, and it was a thrill and an honor. And I've seen your own band play many times. Always a thrill and an honor. Can't wait for you to come to Nashville. Continued success. Good luck with the new album and the tour, Billy, and we'll be watching through the social media.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I hope to see you soon.
Right. Bye.
All right, thanks for having me, brother.
Look, Billy. Okay, so we're going to check out the audio and see how all of this is sounding. 2 calls in. I think they went pretty well. It's definitely a tough medium for me. I'm definitely a tad naked here without being behind the mic or even holding a phone, but it's okay. It's okay. I think that went pretty good. Certainly, and I'm just trying to be open and honest here. There's enough fake radio programs out there. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world. Spontaneity requires a lot. It requires some awareness of the current situation, awareness of artistic history. And as I told these guys today when I booked them on the show, is that, what I used to do is I would get a press release, I would get a record from an act that I might be talking to. And it would take me sometimes up to 8 hours, if not more sometimes, of preparation, of going back and looking at other interviews and just information pages, individual songs, all of that. So I would prepare about 8 hours for usually a 15 to 20 minute interview. And, at this point in my life, I can't do that anymore. It's just that amount of time for anything is it's precious. So I can't really prepare in that way. So today I told these guys, well, it's going to be me on the seat of my pants a little bit. I cannot do it as I once did. But I think it actually went pretty well. So I'm excited to listen back to the webcast myself. I am Rockin Rich Lynch. Let me say goodbye to you now. Again, reminding all bands and artists out there that these are the websites. Oh, I see what happened. Music City Nashville. Go over to either one of those two sites, click on the music promo button, and we can do some music promotion for you. This webcast is in conjunction with our websites, musiccitynashville.net, soundpress.net, richlynchband.com. Those are the three major ones. This program appears on all of those websites, so that's how we're hoping the audience grows and gets a little bit bigger. But on those websites, if you go over to Music City Nashville right now, musiccitynashville.net, reports from the previous week include shows we got to see at the Ryman Auditorium. We have 2 articles based on one show we did last week, which was Loverboy and the Tubes, an 80s rock extravaganza came to the Ryman Auditorium. And it was a good night. It was a really good night. I got some pictures, got some articles of both of those acts up there. And we got to see a comedian named Gary Goldman at the Tennessee Performing Arts Center, the James K. Polk Auditorium over there. His name is Gary Goldman. He's a comedian. We love the guy. And speaking of Springsteen, there's a Springsteen theme throughout the night. Apparently, Gary Goldman had a stretch of time where he was kind of weighed low a little bit by crippling depression and anxiety, and it took him off the road. And he was considering doing something else and giving up comedy. But through therapy and medicine, he decided to give it one more go and created a show based on that called The Great Depression, which is streaming now on HBO. And he's got an HBO special, and it's actually kind of given him a much higher profile than he's had. He's been at this for a long time. He's a comedian who's appeared on all the great major late-night programs, came to Nashville. Like I said, there's a Springsteen theme. That article is on musiccitynashville.net. But he talked about Springsteen's depression, reading about that in a Bruce biography. And then he talked about how he had depression. And then he proceeded to play a show that for a comedian was like equivalent of a Springsteen concert, because he went 2 hours and 10 minutes. And then he stayed well beyond that to do a meet and greet with the audience members. And then the last thing he did was he left the stage while Born to Run was playing. So there's a big Springsteen theme in there. Big Springsteen theme today, talking to Billy Walton. I want to thank my guest, Charlie Souza, charliesouza.com, Billy Walton, billywaltonband.com. I want to thank those guys. I love you both a lot. You've meant a lot to me over the years, and it's just great to see you both doing so well in your careers. One final thing, music on the website. Let's see, I got all these notes. We still get a lot of music in the website, and we're going to have reviews of all of this stuff on soundpress.net. Our review archive is being rebuilt, and we are also reviewing new stuff as time goes on. Stuff we're currently excited about is Nectar. They are a prog rock band from Germany, founded in 1969. They have a new album called The Other Side. We're digging it a lot. We're in the process of writing a review for that. And an album called Lightning Strikes Twice by the band DiCarlo, featuring Tommy DiCarlo and his son and a couple other players. Tommy DiCarlo was a singer who was discovered via social media in the wake of Brad Delp's death by his own hand. Boston needed a new singer, and Tom Schultz discovered Tommy DiCarlo, who was incorporated into Boston for some time. I think he's still in the band when they tour. And he has his own solo album out now called Lightning Strikes Twice. We're listening to it. There's a lot to like on that album. We're liking it a lot. So that's it. Those are the websites, musiccitynashville.net, soundpress.net. Go over to those websites, click some pages. You can go pretty deep on both of those sites and see everything that we've been up to for the longest time. Going well back to 1999, as I told Billy, which was the founding of our first music promotion website that came together while online for that Springsteen concert in Asbury Park. That's how this all began way, way back when. And it's taken me to places I've never thought I'd be, so I'm very thankful for that. And then in world news, yesterday Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu came out and announced their peace deal of the century for peace in the Middle East. And it reminded me that I had the privilege and the honor to visit and tour, not with a band, but actually take a tour of the Holy Land in 1991. And while there on the Sea of Galilee, they let you take rocks and geological specimens out of the country if you were so inclined. And on the trip that I was on, everybody had plastic baggies and they were picking up all sorts of rocks. So we take our first stroll around the Sea of Galilee, and I look down and I see this rock, and it looks like the Christian fish symbol. I'm like, that one's mine. I'm taking that with me. And I knew back as far as 20 years ago that I was going to write a song about that rock. And ultimately, down here in Nashville, I did write it. It was about that rock and the trip I was on in Israel. And while I was on that trip in Israel, there were some people there who were like, hey, you should check out these Christian artists because they're really good. And some people suggested a guy named Phil Kagi. So we researched him, and he lives pretty much not far from where we live here in Tennessee right now. I've got to see him many times. Great player, great singer, a critically acclaimed guitar player. But I wrote this song called Jesus Rock, and that's going to close out the show for today. This is Jesus Rock. Jesus Rock.
Really happened to me. One day when I was walking on the shores of the Galilee, looking down upon that specimen, called out my name. Yeah, I found that Jesus rock, and ain't nothing ever been the same. I found that Jesus rock. I found that Jesus rock. I found that Jesus rock. Gonna give it to you. Jesus, he healed the blind and he fixed up the dumb. But I knew when I found that Jesus rock, it was a harbinger of good things to come. When the world has got you down and all you want to do is get off, let all the sinners sin and just let all the scoffers scoff, 'cause you got my Jesus rock. You got my Jesus rock. You got my Jesus rock that I'm giving to you. Gonna cut that one short today. RichLynchBand.com and Rockin Rich Lynch over at Bandcamp. You can buy that. You can buy all my music over there. I wish you would. I really, really wish you would. If you've enjoyed this program in any way, that helps us stay on the air. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you next week. We're going to do this once a week around every Wednesday from Nashville, Tennessee. We'll have more guests, more exciting stuff. Over and out, everybody.